All right. I'm super excited to be here, guys. My name is Dave Albano. We'll do a quick intro in a bit, and here with Steve Slots, as he's affectionately known, Steve Slotow. And this is all about recession-proofing your agency, how to generate leads and sales while recession-proofing your digital agency in the coming year. There's lots of ways you can do that. We're going to show you why and how you want to do it and how to do it. And we're going to go over 3 keys. Actually, Steve, did you want to go over these ones?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'll go for it 100%. So, I mean, guys, obviously you showed up, and as I always say in these kinds of things, showing up means you're already winning, because a lot of people put their down to show up and they just don't show up. So, firstly, well done, and well, good to have you here, and you're already taking a good step in improving your agency. So, well done. What we're going to cover essentially is, the whole point of this is, again, recession-proofing your agency. We want to take you through a bunch of different steps and tactics and specific information to basically recession-proof your agency for the slowdown that we're inevitably kind of already feeling and going to be feeling into the coming months. So that's our number one key. The second key that we're going to focus on is business intelligence. So due to our space, Globital space in the world, we are a white label digital agency fulfillment partner. We partner with agencies and execute on their behalf. That means that we have agencies all over the globe that we support. And due to the nature of that relationship, those agencies, it's so funny that tradespeople was brought up, or home service, as you call it, because by the nature of who we support, all these agencies all over the world, we never know who they're going to bring to us to support them with. So they could bring us plumbers, they could bring us hairdressers, they could bring us primary schools, high schools, universities. We never know. So over the almost coming up to 8-9 years of Globital being around, we have worked on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different campaigns. SEO, PPC, social media, all of these different campaigns. And from that, this is the proprietary intelligence that we've pulled out of our data and said, guys, based on the history that we've worked with all these agencies all over the world, here is the absolute cream of the crop information that you as an agency owner need to know in the month of January, February, March, etc. Where should I spend my time? Where should I focus my energy? That's the proprietary information that we're going to get. Industries to target, budget to spend, etc. So really powerful. We'll share that with you. And the last thing we're going to go through is the tactical roadmap, which is really, really practical. And I think we said this in the communication as we put the invites out. This isn't about sitting here and talking nonsense for a few hours. An hour. We'll try to keep it to an hour if we can. This is about giving you really tactical, really practical tips that you can take away, get out of this webinar. As you close the window, you can go and implement some stuff that we're going to show you immediately. So very, very practical stuff we want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to that, a little more details in terms of the agenda, what we're going to cover. If those are the 3 keys, we just off the top, there's nothing to sell here. This is the value-added training. We love giving, and I believe, and I know Steve and Globital, everyone at Globital believes, rising tides lifts all ships. We want to rise your tides so we can all grow together. So there's literally nothing to sell here. It's not your standard webinar with pitch fest and no real actionable content, and it's just filled with fluff. That's not that at all. But we are going to go over why it's so important, why you listen to this right now, and what the entire global economy is going through. 5 compelling reasons why you actually want to increase your marketing. Really consider that. People think in a global recession you got to start cost cutting. I'll tell you why that is a big mistake and what to do instead. And you actually want to tell your clients this. You're B2B, right? So you want to tell your clients to increase their ad spend or their marketing budgets as well. That's good for you. It's actually good for them. So you're going to be able to go through this training and borrow what we teach you here and tell your clients the same thing. So feel free to take lots of notes, screenshots, whatever it takes for you to lift what we're giving you here, swipe and deploy, and tell your clients so you can make them better, you grow, and we all win. I'm all about the not just win-win, it's got to be win-win-win. It's got to be win for you, win for us, win for your clients, win for their clients. Okay, wins all around. So we're going to give you how to handle any objections they come up with, and you suggest what we're going to tell you to do. And then Steve already mentioned that exclusive business intelligence. This is proprietary, as I trip over my words there. You can't get this anywhere else. So that's why I'm really congratulating you guys for showing up on the best businesses, the best industries to target, the ad spends, the best campaigns that they ran, which worked best, all these things, right? And how actually not just to protect your revenue, but actually grow it in the process, and that 5-step tactical game plan that will literally virtually guarantee you clients in the coming recession if you deploy it. And just for showing up, we're going to give you $1,000 bonus in free services, whether it's PPC, SEO. I'll let Steve talk to that more at the end when we get there. But again, we want to empower you, lift you up, give you the tools, the resources, the training that you guys need to succeed. So super excited to go over all of that. Steve, anything else to add there?
Hundreds, man. Good job summing it up.
Fantastic. Okay, let's move on. And just a quick, really briefly, who we are. My name is Dave Albano. I am the CEO and founder of JozaMarketing.com. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for several multi-million-dollar businesses around the world, including Globital, and that's why I'm here to help them out. I am a partner with Digital Marketer. If you're familiar with them, they are the world's foremost digital marketing training company on the planet, and I am a mentor to a lot of their students, and I'm one of their elite coaches and mastermind hosts. I'm a speaker and trainer for them as well. If any of you guys know this guy, Ryan Dice, he's the CEO and founder of Digital Marketer. He is one of the OGs, if you will, in the digital marketer space. He's a good friend of mine. And I've spoken all over the planet to some of the biggest conferences in the world, including Traffic and Conversion Summit. Literally spoke to tens of thousands of people over the time I'm actually going to a big conference in Dubai soon to speak again. And I've had the pleasure of interviewing some of the most famous people in our marketing space, like Gary Vee here, hanging out with him. And I got all kinds of awards and accolades and designations. I'll skip over that stuff. The key thing here is that there's 8 core disciplines. And one of the most important things that I'd like to share, 8 core disciplines of digital marketing that you see listed here. I happen to be certified in all of them. So I have boots on the ground, in the trenches experience, a real world experience that I'd like to relay to you guys. And that's why Digital Marketer actually asked me to be one of their hosts for the best marketing mastermind on the planet called M3 that you see here. And with that, just really briefly over to Steve to
yeah, so a little bit about me. You know, I've also been around for a few years, as it were. Started out as a journalist and went into owning my own digital agency, and then joined Globital about 5 or 6 years ago. It changes every year, so it's hard to keep track. But and now, you know, just been working with digital marketing agencies, helping them run better businesses. That's what we do. The goal of what we do is to kind of get agencies back to their inner genius. So there's a little bit about me. You know, 6+ years in this job in particular. At least 500 agencies that we've supported over the years. Probably many more. You know, I just put 500 plus because it's I don't actually want to count up how many agencies. Again, it's consulting on growth, resourcing, marketing, branding, and operations. So all of the things that help an agency run a better business, that's what we help with, particularly fulfillment and resource support. But, you know, when we're having conversations with an agency, especially, you know, our sign-up process is very much based around what are you struggling with? What are your pain points? So it's more than just, hey, let's get you an SEO campaign. It's like, how can we actually make you better at running your own agency? Over the years, I've partnered up with a bunch of people, particularly mostly in the UK. That was my region, obviously, from the accent. Anybody who thinks I'm from Australia, we will have beef. Sorry, John, but you know how it goes. John's probably the only one here. If he's the only Aussie here, he's the only one here who knows where I'm actually from, and I'll keep it to myself until someone else guesses. John, don't let it out the bag. But you know, the UK and SA was my region. Grew that for Globital over the last 5 or 6 years, and now I'm in the States, growing this region as well. We're looking to meet new agencies and grow the place out here, but particularly around, working with other experts around helping digital agencies. We've got 2 Facebook communities. You guys can take a screen. You can take a picture of the QR code if you want. Come join us. I think some of you are already in there. I recognize some names from there. Our Digital Agency Co-Collective and our Digital Marketing Dream Team, both just agencies full of digital agency owners. So come and join us. I think that's all from me.
Absolutely. And key thing, we went over that really quickly, but a key thing I want to point out to you guys is that, like, I'm based in North America. I have clients all over the world though, but Steve, he's worked in the UK and he's from, I won't let the cat out of the bag where you're from. But the point is, we have a global reach and global experience when we cover all English-speaking markets. So Daniel's saying, he's from Australia. The ZA accent is quite different. ZA
we still haven't fully given it away, so I'll let it slide, Daniel.
All right. Anyway, that's a little bit about this, about us. But why are we doing this in the first place? Because of, everyone's heard the warning signs, the economic pundits out there saying a recession is looming. It's more than looming. Steve, do you want to talk to this slide a little bit and see whether we're even there yet or not?
Yeah, I mean, look, as I say when we discuss these things, and I'm no financier or economic brain, but the fact of the matter is that there's very few people in the world these days who would disagree with you saying we're actually in a recession. So there's obviously the definition of recession being those things: economic activity, gross domestic profit, etc., being down, and a significant decline in economic activity. But I think for most people, the recession is being felt day to day, and I'm just talking about not even just agency owners like us, but people on the street, going to the grocery stores and buying food. We're in a recession, man. Times are tougher, economic things are down, things are more expensive, and this is the time. And this is why I say, is just by showing up, you guys have really taken that step, and that boss step and I'll explain what I mean by boss in a little bit. You've taken that boss step of showing up and saying, hey man, I don't want this recession to affect my agency. I want to do something about it before it hits proper. So I know, Dave, you've got some other slides there that talk about what some of the experts are saying, but we definitely are.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head in terms of, like, everyone, whether they're in business or not, is feeling this at the grocery store, at the gas pumps, wherever they are, which, times are getting tougher. Look at these inflation rates. So what you referenced, Steve, is all about inflation that hits all of us. Look at over here. Can you guys see my cursor as a pointer, by the way?
Yeah.
Is that moving? Okay, cool. So look at, like, going back to 2012, and up to 2020, we're dabbling in the 1.5 range, 2s, 3s, and then not even 3s, and then shoots up to 7 and 6.5 ending in December. 6.5% inflation rates. Now, this chart looks a little overwhelming. Don't get too overwhelmed. The point I want to try and make by showing this, though, all the way back to year 1000, so 2000, for the last 23 years, look at all these digits in here. We got 1s and 2s and 3s and some minuses here. 2009, that's right over the last 2008 crash, right? That's why you get all those negatives in there. But all 1s and 2s and 3s, basically, churning around. And most economists, most central banks, government banks, want to keep the inflation rate at about 2%. That's a healthy growth rate for inflation. That's not going to kill the economy. However, look at this. From 2000 to 2020 to last year, it went from 1.2, which is average if you look at the rest of the chart, to 8. 567% increase. So and that is one of the key predictors of a recession is high inflation. And to say that's high, it's extreme, it's crazy. So just want to show that. We still got an ongoing war in Ukraine, which is impacting the entire global economy, and Ukraine is Europe's breadbasket. So that's another reason food prices are increasing, because there's a shortage of supply of grain, and we've cut off Russian oil and all these things, right? So all of that plays into it. The economists themselves saying a global recession is inevitable. this year. Inevitable. It's not just coming, it's guaranteed to happen. It's inevitable. Okay, because geopolitics, energy, our intertwined economies, all of these things, right? Okay,
to jump in, it's interesting because the last time we chatted, it was less certain. There was less certain conversation. So,
well, I mean, last I checked, the war in Ukraine isn't ending anytime soon. Inflation is still rising. There's all kinds of divisions in politics, which is hurting the economy as well. All of these things play into that. And the Oracle of Omaha himself, Warren Buffett, he's preparing for the recession. So we can learn a couple things out of his playbook. As I've highlighted here, analysts, economists, and other experts largely expect some kind of recession 2023 or 2024. Remember, the official definition of a recession is 2 successive quarters of contraction, okay, where the economy goes backwards. Essentially, it's not positive growth, it's negative growth or zero growth over 2 quarters, right? So what is Mr. Buffett doing? His advice, now check this out. He's been doing this. He's an older guy there. He's getting a little long in the tooth, but he's still with us. Last 7 decades, his company, Berkshire Hathaway, has outperformed the market over the last 7 decades. On average, we see a recession every 1 to 2, in a 10-year period, you see a recession 1 to 2 times. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but on average, 1 to 2 times. He's been doing this for 7 decades. So he's seen like minimum like 14, 15, 20 recessions. So he knows a thing or two about doing this stuff in these times. 2 big points, and this is swiped from an article. I always include sources where we're quoting from here. They're down here at the bottom. If you want to do any further digging, feel free to screenshot that and look it up on the Googles. But think long-term and invest in smart assets. Long-term is critical. Why? Because recessions, as scary as they may sound, they're essentially short-term. It's just 2 quarters of contraction. So 2 quarters, that's 6 months, right? So the better we can prepare going into one, the better we're going to be prepared going out of one, as people, fry Chicken Little and run for their lives in recessions. We want to do the opposite, right? So keep a long-term outlook. Short-term volatility, earnings struggles are quite typical. If you invest in a company with strong fundamentals, and that's what we develop for you guys, strong fundamentals, it could help drive record earnings 5 or 10 years down the line. Okay, so think long-term. Invest in smart assets that are going to help you, not hurt you. Think opportunistically. And I love this quote: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Is there a lot of fear in the marketplace right now? Absolutely. That's our time to pounce. Why? Because markets are contracting. That opens up all kinds of market share opportunities. And as your competitors shrink back because they're cutting costs, we're going to tell you to do the opposite. You want to zig when others are zagging. That's the opportunity that we have before us. Okay. So if it's good enough for Warren Buffett, it's good enough for us. And look at this guy, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. They are being very deliberate on hiring in this coming economic downturn. I love this quote: we believe strongly in investing the long term. Sound familiar? Some of the most powerful, biggest, financial gurus and CEOs on the planet are thinking long term. We don't believe you can save your way to prosperity. Kind of wise, right? You can't. And if you think about it, you're cutting costs. Are you going to prosper? No, you can't save and scrimp and save and be a miser worth your money to be prosperous. We think you invest your way to prosperity. Much different mindset. Again, good enough for them. It's good enough for us. Now, speaking of mindset, I'm going to turn it back over to Steve here with that picture painted, that kind of context of what the pundits and some of the most powerful people on the planet are doing. What are you going to do instead? And what mindset are you going to take?
Yeah, totally, Dave. And guys, this is kind of a mindset shift that I encourage agencies to make all the time in our community. These are some screenshots of the lives, or not even the lives. I go into the community just live briefly, but these are some screenshots of videos I do in our community. I call it the Bitch Agency, Boss Agency series, because It's about, at the end of the day, you can come to as much training as you like, you can implement as much stuff as you like. If your mindset is not right in your agency, if you don't have an abundance mindset and you have a minimalistic mindset and you have a fear mindset, you will always be failing. And I think the fact that you guys, as I mentioned when we at the top of the hour, the fact that you guys showed up to this webinar and you showed up and you're here, it means that you have got a mindset of a boss. You are not one of these bitch agencies who are going to walk around and completely blame the world for their problems and complain and only see problems and only see excuses. And we've all been there. We all know about this. You know, we see it in our children, and we see it in our even in ourselves. Sometimes we see it in our friends and family. Sometimes a lot of the people we hang around with, they do have that mentality of just give up. Oh, I'm a victim. Oh, it's not my fault. This is what happened, and it's the world hates me and everybody. It's the wrong mindset to have. You need to have a boss mindset. And as I said, the fact that you guys showed up says everything about you. That you are bosses. That you are wanting to do something. You're looking at this really. The picture that Dave just laid out of this really doom and gloom kind of economic situation, we're all standing at the precipice and staring into this black hole going, we don't know what's going to happen. Well, let's take our own destiny into our own hands and do something about it, rather than just let it wash over us and see where our agency lands, what's left of the wreckage of our agencies when we finish. So it's very much about the mindset of being a boss and saying, I'm going to do something about it, rather than, hey, I'm a victim and I don't know what to do about it.
Absolutely. And we are going to tell you exactly what to do about it and more reasons to be a boss. Let's bust some myths first about the recession. And I grabbed some quotes. Again, you can see the sources at the bottom. Love this one. Recession trends. And this is proven, guys. This is like scientific or economic, maybe not scientific, but economic evidence and data and studies that recession trends show that marketing is crucial to a company's success and odds of surviving the slump. Okay, marketing is crucial. Not only that, but businesses that come out of a recession strong, they don't make significant cuts to their marketing budgets. You may want to cut in other areas, and we'll suggest some areas where you want to do that. That's part of this training. But these are critical, and these are recession trends that happen over and over and over again. We can learn a lot from the past and what not to do as much as what we should be doing. Forbes themselves say, and this is our article out of Forbes, history has repeatedly proven that during a slowdown, businesses actually benefit more from advertising. Why? Because of what Buffett said. Remember those opportunities. You want to think opportunistically. Amid the session of the early 80s, which, by the way, that's the last time inflation rates were comparable today. We can talk about the downturn of 2008. That was, tragic across global. But if you remember that chart I showed you, the inflation rates, they were still in that 1% to 2% range. So as horrible as that experience was, and many of you probably have unfond memories of that. Now, I was around in the 80s. I think I'm probably got a little more age on most of you. I remember in the 80s when inflation and interest rates were sky high. I'm talking like credit card rates or mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are still, I don't know what they are globally, but in Canada here, they're around 5%, maybe 7% for longer term ones. But back then, they were like 18%. My parents were paying 18, 22% mortgage rates. It was insane. So we're not even near that. And Forbes and Buffett lived through those times. But the key here is, in bold, is that the businesses benefited more, and those that upped their marketing spend benefited from higher sales than competitors that did not. Again, let's learn from past history. Let's learn from past trends, right? And how we can do that. And here is not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 more reasons to increase your marketing during this coming recession. And you want to tell your clients to do the same. Remember I told you earlier about the swipe and deploy? You can take these reasons, write them down, take screenshots, however you want to record them, and tell your clients as to why they want to increase their marketing spend as well, to give you more money so you can help them and we all win, right? Number 1, gain competitive edge. Again, fear and doom and gloom, what does that encourage others to do? And you're not going to be the others, you're going to be the wise ones. They shrink back, they cut their marketing budgets. That's often the easiest to spend or easiest to cut because it's not affecting operations and whatnot. It's an easy decision, but it's not always the right one. So as they are shrinking back, what does that do? That opportunistic thinking, if you are either staying the same or even adding more marketing juice to your budgets and to your marketing efforts, what are you going to do? You're going to increase your branding awareness. They're shrinking back, and it allows you to gain that competitive edge to literally leapfrog over your competitors as they shrink back. And remember that quote from Buffett: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. That's how you can gain a competitive edge. This is the exact time when others are fearful. All right. Now, what does that also do? It allows you to capture more market share. Remember that Forbes quote I mentioned. Those that upped their marketing spend benefit from higher sales than competitors that did not. What does that allow you to do? It allows you, if those competitors are shrinking back, they're leaving money on the table, they're leaving leads and sales on the table. That's your opportunity to grab them. Instead, you can actually capture their portion of the pie, their piece of the pie, their market share that they're intentionally giving up. So they're giving you this gift, this golden opportunity. It's your job, it's your imperative to take it if you want to survive and thrive in this recession. This also, again, we want to think opportunistically here, guys. This allows you, this recession, while everyone's pulling back, it also allows you the chance to reflect on your own business, your own operating costs, and not to necessarily cut them. Sure, it's important to be prudent, but you want to optimize your costs. How do we do that? Optimizing means cutting your costs smartly where it makes sense to do so. And I've listed a couple places where you can do that, like switching any variable costs, which if it's something is variable, like let's think in terms of mortgage rates, right? You can have a variable mortgage or a fixed mortgage. Fixed mortgage, you know exactly what you're paying every single month to your mortgage versus variable. It's subject to market conditions, subject to the rates or the war in Ukraine, whatever is something that Putin says, whatever it is. So you have no control and stability. So anytime you can switch any variable costs in your company to fixed costs, that allows you to be more stable and secure in your financing, in your cash flow projections, all those things, right? This is also another great time to look at any software subscriptions that you have. Maybe you got a subscription to Jasper. I'm guilty of this. Great platform, but now we have Chat GPT, which is free. Do I need Jasper anymore? Probably not. Nothing against Jasper. Love those guys. Actually, no, Dave Albano, the CEO and founder, but it's one of those pieces where it isn't as business critical. So what other software subscriptions are you paying for? And you probably just paid for again because those are the beginning of the year, and that's when a lot of these annual renewals come due. You're paying for software that you're probably not even using, much like I like to call a lot of people. Again, I'm a big book fan, as you can see from my bookshelves in the background. There's something called, instead of self-help, or shelf help. We buy books with the same thing. We buy programs, we buy software with the intent to use it, but we never do. Great time to look at what you're not using, cut those costs, and redirect those savings or what you were spending over there into marketing instead. Stay virtual. We're just coming off of 2.5, 3 years of COVID and working from home. Everyone's used to it already. So if you don't have to travel, hotels, flights, they're all expensive. You can stay home. People are used to staying home and conducting business now virtually, which is essentially free, even with free Zoom account or their trial. So you can do that free. Your business owners probably already have a Zoom account. Stay virtual, cut your costs because travel is expensive. So there's a couple of easy ways. Look at domains. I don't know about you, but I'm a gatherer of cool domain names. Some of them I've had literally for years, never used those, but I'm still paying the annual registration fees for those domain name registrations, right? So if you have unused domain names, those are good opportunities to cut your costs, redirect those cost savings into your marketing. Steve, I want to flip it back over to you, especially on that first bullet point about switching from variable to fixed costs, because I know you guys offer fixed pricing, right?
Yeah, so we actually, the way that we do it is in a couple of different ways, but and this is, I think it's a great point, Dave, about variable versus fixed costs, because the way that we operate is we're a resource partner. The way that we always say to people is we act as an extension of your team. So what's great about, and this is the, I think, advice that going on from Dave's point here about switching from variable to fixed costs, look, this is a time with the recession looming and with tough times ahead, is a time for you to start considering relying on a resource partner rather than hiring new people and bringing in an expensive new resource, for example. A resource partner who you could potentially go, hey, switch on, I've got 10 new SEO campaigns, let's get it going. 5 of them canceled on me last month, so I have to switch it off. With people and engagements like Globital, or with engagement with any kind of resource partner, the ideal part of it is that you're able to just switch that off. There's no firing of employees, there's no HR management, there's no long, lengthy processes of having to think, oh man, should I hold on to this person? Should I get rid of them? Maybe I'm going to find another. Just look for opportunities in your business where you can engage with people in that regard. You know, thinking of what Dave's saying there about offloading unused software. Often what we find, not just only with software, but with contractors and business support structures, lawyers, accountants, etc., business coaches. Very often in a business, in an agency in particular, we tend to get to a point where we get kind of bloated. I promise you that everyone in the room at the moment knows what I'm talking about. We all know, can look into our business and say, hey, I'm kind of bloated at the moment, probably not getting what I should be getting over there because I'm so busy that I haven't been taking full advantage of it. Can I go renegotiate that contract? Can I go renegotiate that engagement? I'm not using 10 hours a week of my accountants. I'm using 5 hours. This is the time to start thinking about, hey man, can we have a chat about how we're engaging? What do I actually get from you? What is the, you don't want to turn it off. Obviously, it's a very important business service that you provide, business activity that you need to make sure is being looked after by someone else, not you. You're not an accountant, you're not a lawyer, so you need that support. But can you look in ways that you can remove those costs from your business? And fulfillment very much should be considered the same way. Hey man, I don't want to bring on a big SEO team. I don't want to bring on a new web designer. Let me just go get a resource partner like Globital to take care of it for me, allowing you to have better cash flow. So these are the kinds of decisions as business owners that we need to sit down and really think about and make.
Absolutely. Thanks for extrapolating on that, Steve. And just noticing in the chat, Chad says, with the increase in marketing spend, do we go niche or go for general brand awareness, or a bit of both? Fantastic question. And at our level, small businesses, the more niche you can get, the better. So it's actually a hybrid. The answer to your question, the quick answer is it's both, but do brand awareness in your niche. You want to up the awareness in your niche. You don't want to go general and broad to everyone outside your niche, because we are not the Cokes or the Nikes or the IBMs of the world. They have like multi-billion-dollar advertising budgets. And the trap we as small business owners fall into, because we're susceptible to this, we're human, we see their ads on TV or on billboards or on radio spots, wherever it is, we see them everywhere, all these big market players. And we mentally think, because we're inundated with these marketing messages, we say, oh, that's how it's done. We should be doing this. No, we don't have billion-dollar marketing budgets. They do. So that's why we want to go niche and laser focused with your branding campaigns or marketing campaigns, promotional campaigns.
Yeah, so I'm glad. Yeah, and I was going to say to Chad, Chad, this is exactly the point of the proprietary intel that we're going to give you. Is we're going to tell you right now in a couple of slides time, we're going to say pool cleaners, we're going to say painters, we're going to say restaurants. This is where you should be going at this time at this month, and this is the budget you should be going at, and this is the tactic you should be employing. So that's going to allow you to niche very, very well. But I think today's point as well, and I think just as agency owners, as marketers, as branders, whether we like it or not, if you consider yourself just a marketer, then you're also just missing the point. You are also a brander. You need to make sure about that brand coming through in everything you do. And to Dave's point, exactly that is, make sure that everything you do is being looked after by the brand as well. The brand is being looked after in everything we do as well. So be general, exactly that. Be general. Make sure the branding and the focus is general, but you're going to have more success if you know exactly who your niche is, and if you go after that niche ferociously and become the experts in recession at helping high schools, at helping lawyers, at helping medical people. If you become the boss in your area of expertise, and that in this time, nothing can stop you.
Absolutely. Great points. Speaking of points, let's move on. Well, let's capitalize on what I call SEO stupidity. What does that mean? Well, as people are pulling back, other business owners, not you, are pulling back, they cut their SEO efforts, right? And yet, this is one of the most profitable marketing channels any business can have, right? And why? And this is studies. This is, proven economic data. Again, sources at the bottom if you're really interested and want to do some more digging. $22 is typically returned for every dollar spent. And why do businesses cut their SEO efforts? Because they don't know that. They don't realize what their ROI is. It's misunderstood, and they don't have the KPIs, or they're uncertain whether their SEO efforts are even working. They actually are. They just don't know about it. So they cut that area of their marketing budget incorrectly. So don't be that. Don't be, let's capitalize on their stupidity to your benefit. Okay. And if you think about it, if they're cutting their budgets for SEO, well, that means they're dropping in the search rankings. That's your opportunity to gain an increase in the rankings. Same thing with PPC. You actually have greater PPC power. As they cut their budgets, what does that do? They cut their PPC budgets. They are removing themselves from the marketplace. And we all know it's based on bids and competitiveness. The more competitive the PPC marketplace is, the more it costs. So if there's fewer bids, we get decreased CPCs and more savings in your pocket. This is like a fire sale, guys. You get a broader reach, and your PPC dollars go way more, giving you way longer, way farther, giving you more leads and more sales. Everyone loves a great sale. Look at all the Black Friday sales, Amazon Prime Days, Christmas special, all these things we tend to buy when these sales are on. When you were in recession and economic downturn, everyone is cutting back, less competition, less bids. It's a giant sale. That's that opportunistic thinking that I mentioned earlier from Warren Buffett. Everything is on sale now. So talk about optimizing costs. That's why we want to cut costs elsewhere, redirect them where the smart money is, and this is where it is, because your PPC ad dollars go farther. And even if you keep it just the same, tell your clients to keep it the same instead of cutting. They say, if they come to you saying, hey, Mr. Agency owner, we need to cut our PPC efforts, you can tell them this exact thing. So remember I said swipe and deploy these sides so you can educate your customers on why they don't want to do that, right? And increase your ad spend instead of decreasing it. You're going to get it's going to be way cheaper for your dollars. Are going to go way more for greater reach. Okay. Now, when you suggest that to your clients, they may have a few objections here and then. How do you handle them? Steve is going to tell you the answer.
Yeah, I love this, and it's actually just follows on beautifully from what Dave was just saying about where you should be, how do you actually win, and how do you go forward in this kind of world. Objection handling, guys, we've all been there. We all know that one of the biggest frustrations that agencies have is we work incredibly hard to go and find a client, and we sign them up and we get going on a campaign, and then a time like Christmas comes around, or a time like a recession comes around, and all of a sudden we have these objections coming from our really hard won clients, and they're going, hey man, I just don't want, I've got to pause my campaign. So these are some really practical ways that you and things you can say to bust those objections over and say, man, this is a bad time to do that. Let's see if we can't find a better way for you to do this. It's a bit of a sales thing. This obviously objections we know is a sales technique, and dealing with objections is from a sales perspective. But one of the big objections we get as agency owners is my industry slows down at the beginning of the year. We get this at Christmas as, my industry shuts down in December. Well, my industry slows down in January. Well, what can you do about that? this is the time. One way to say this is I want to pause my PPC campaign, or I want to stop my social media campaign because my industry slows down at the beginning of the year. This is the perfect time for you to respond with, hey man, cool, that sounds good. Why don't we start or redeploy? Let's start an SEO campaign. Let's put some, yes, SEO takes a little bit of a while, but what you're doing when you do that is you're putting a little bit of value into an ongoing asset, into the actual business. So there is something you can do about that when somebody says that to you. The next two, I love because they are completely the opposite, but you'll often find clients saying the same thing to you in two different calls. So one could be, hey, it's too competitive in January. And this goes back to the slides that Dave just shared. It's too competitive in January. So your response should be, what better time is there to sell? You don't want to be forgotten. You don't want your competitors to take all the business. If you're not running your campaign in January, you're going to get left behind, mate. This is the time to do everything that Dave just shared above. You got to up the marketing. You got to up the brand awareness. You got to up everything you do now. Increase the spend. Make sure that you stay relevant. And again, to chat to your point about niching, make sure you stay relevant in your niche. I think it was, whether it's with IT companies or whether it's with restaurants, you got to stay relevant in that niche. So if the objection is, hey, it's too competitive in January, the answer should be, hey man, what better time to sell? We've got to keep you playing the game. We've got to keep you on the field, and we've got to make sure that you're winning. The opposite of that is they may turn around and say, hey, let's pause my SEO PPC campaign in January. People are still coming back from holiday, and no one's really online. And it's kind of like, my industry's slowing down a little bit, and I just don't think it's a good time. Your reaction and your response to this should be, so your competitors are basically doing the same thing. They're probably pausing their campaigns now too, right? So why not sell like hell now? All of your competition is offline. If that's true, if all of your people are coming home from holiday and they're still not online yet, then your competitors are probably not marketing. This is the time that you can go clean up and pick up all of their clients, because nobody else, or all of their potential clients, because nobody else is marketing to them. So far less competition, keywords, eyeballs, all of that stuff, you can go and clean up in that time. And then one other objection we get a lot is, I'll probably get a lot less ROI than if I ran the campaign a little bit later on in the year. So that's an objection we get. Your answer is pretty simple. It's not true. It's just not true. Because what you can say is, if people are clicking now, it means that if people click now, if that's true, that you think you're going to get less ROI, that means that the people who are clicking now are really serious about doing business. Their intent is much higher if they're clicking on the ads, if they're actually clicking on the websites. So it comes back to that idea of mindset. If you have the boss mindset and you have this mentality of, any objection that comes to me, I'm just not going to accept it. I'm going to think of a way around it. Here are 4 objections that are very common to digital agencies. These are the responses and the ways to get around them. You can be creative with your own conversations. You've got to think on your feet a little bit when you're doing the sale. But or when this isn't even a sales piece, you've already closed the business. Now you're talking to an account. You're an account manager now, going, hey man, don't close your account with us. Don't stop that campaign. Here's why. So hopefully the information we've shared here is good enough for you to turn around and go, dude, I'm taking that down. The minute I get that objection, this is what I'm going to say. So Absolutely. Just with thoughts.
And that's a good point, Steve, because what you're talking about too is not client gaining strategies, but these are retention strategies now for the clients you do have, if they want to pause or shut down the campaign because it's slow in January, because the recession's coming, whatever it is. Use the previous slides I just shared with you in tandem with this slide. And to Steve's point, you do want to roll your sleeves up a little bit, and if you can bolster your responses, especially with any stats. Remember, Google is your friend. Some of the stats that I pulled earlier it's done in seconds. You just put the word stats behind any subject title. So you could literally put, like I'm looking at that last line item, I'll probably get less ROI than if I ran the campaign in February or March. Not true. Well, don't let them just take your word for it. We'll find stats to support that claim and say, January sales stats. Even if you just Google that, put stats behind any topic matter, plus stats will give you statistics, just like I pulled for some of the inflation stats I shared with you earlier, and quotes that I found and whatnot to support the claims. It's evidence-based arguments, which they can't argue them because they're trends, it's economic data, and it's proven that way to bolster your claims. So don't forget to do that. Okay, Steve, you're just saying 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Fine if we could go over a bit. Yeah, thanks for calling that out. Steve, we'll probably go over a little bit if that's okay with you guys.
I know that there's some Aussies in the room and it's Friday, so it's basically the weekend for them. So
there you go. There you go. All right. All right. Well, let's dive into some business intelligence to support.
Here's the golden piece, guys. Don't like that.
All right. Steve, over to you. I want to walk us through this chart. It looks pretty busy and it might be a little small. Take a screenshot of this, guys, because this is really, really important data that Steve's about to walk you through.
Right. So totally, I'm not going to go through this in detail. Obviously, as Dave said, take a screenshot and make sure you get this. But essentially how this is laid out, as you can see from left to right, obviously, is the type of business with the wide niche. So we're talking about taking that top line, for example, the type of business being e-commerce, the wide niche being home and home improvement. Narrowing down the niche, you can start to get home decor, home and kitchen, art supplies, blinds, etc. So what this intelligence that you're staring at right now is, again, just in case you joined late and you've missed out, is this is intelligence that Globital has pulled out of our campaigns that we've been doing for the last 7-8 years with digital businesses, digital agencies all over the world. And this is intelligence that we are now providing to you to say, over the last 7-8 years that we've run these campaigns in the month of January, February, March, this is what we've learned from those campaigns. We've learned that these are the niches that are spending the most, where agencies are finding the most success, where they're getting the best results, best ROI for their clients. Obviously, you can see how many campaigns it's based on, and we've given you information there as well as you move across to the average cost per click that you can theoretically be looking at. So this is really, really tactical information that you can take a look at and go through quite easily. And hopefully you find either your niche on this list or a niche that you potentially go back to Chad's point about, should we be looking at other niches and maybe this is the time? Yes, if you see a niche that you've maybe been wanting to go after for a while, or you see an opportunity with, or maybe you're in a really bad niche at the moment, where people are just tightening their belts and no spend is going on for good reason. Let's say you put all your money down on COVID, and now COVID equipment is no longer needed, or face masks are no longer needed. These are the kinds of niches that you can start focusing on. Talking about the cost per click, the average cost per lead or sale, and the average conversion rate that you can expect. Well, this is what we've done from historically. Obviously, we can't promise that you'll get this, but this is what we've learned over the years. Again, looking at this is obviously from Google and Microsoft ads. Social media ads, we've given you the information there as well in case you want to run those for one of your clients. Same thing, just an idea of where you should be sitting, or more or less what you can expect. And then the averages spent. Again, also one of the key things about this list is that we've put in there specific services that we recommend. So again, we recognize that there are specific targeted SEO agencies that only do SEO. Well, if you're slowing down and you're finding that this is happening a lot to you, this might be the time to go into Google ads or Facebook ads. These are the services that we would recommend. So you can take a look down there as well about which services you may want to be focusing on. And we've gone so far into the detail that even talking about the types of ads and the types of promotions, because again, these are the ways that we found success for agencies and their clients over the last few years.
Absolutely. And I just advanced the slide because it was another listing of niches on niches on the left-hand side. So this is the second screenshot that you want to take. So with all the data, and just to emphasize what Steve was saying, all this data, if you look at the average ad spend in November, December, Jan. Okay, all the data is over the last 3 months in November, December, and in January, compiled over the last several years. So it's seasonal, whether in economic good times, bad times. This data is collected over a broad base and shows the types of promotions that got these results. So you can essentially duplicate these results for where we are in the market timing right now based on the area of the calendar that we are currently in. So all this data is compiled over November, December, January data, just to be clear on that. the types of ads that were run, types of promotions that were run, and the specific services to recommend by niche. So take a look at that. Once again, take a screenshot. Anything else there, Steve, before we move on?
All good. Look, you're going to have to sit down with this data and make it relevant to your own agency. Everyone's agency is different. As Dave mentioned, we will be giving everybody who has attended a $1,000 voucher to use with our services. And with that, obviously, we sign you up to our platform and we get you introduced to our customer service team, and we get you introduced to our heads of department. So you can take this data and have that conversation with our teams who've done the work. So you can take it down. You can take one line and say, hey, I spend a lot of time with pets. That's my niche. You guys gave me this data in a presentation. I want to know more about this data, and the team can go into it with you in detail. So,
and this, guys, remember, opportunistic thinking here. This guy gives you a huge opportunity to take this gift that Globital is giving you guys. And to Steve's point earlier, let's say you focus specifically on SEO, but your clients are bailing, or you're not getting new clients, or they're pausing their campaigns. Well, this is where you can suggest to them, hey, do a PPC campaign instead. And yeah, by the way, we're going to give you $1,000 free PPC services to do it for you to resell to your clients for whatever you want. So it's a great opportunity for you, and use this data to look at some of these niches. Either you're in them, or you can expand into different niches if yours is slowing down. So lots of opportunity for you there as well. All right, let's look at your tactical game plan. This is the nuts and bolts. This is the stuff. We gave you a lot of context and objection handling and things that you can tell your existing clients as to why they want to increase their marketing spend, and you want to do the same. Let's look at what you can do specifically today on some very on a tactical level. I'm Canadian, so I got a hockey image there, your hockey game plan, right? Okay, Dean Jackson, he is one of the godfathers of our modern day marketing. If you know him, I've had the pleasure of chatting and masterminding with him. He has this concept for an amazing 9-word email that revives dead leads. We have dead leads, we have former clients, we have lists, we have social media lists, right? All these things. But if you have any kind of email list, 9 words. It's in here is step by step. So this is right from an article. He used to do a podcast called I Love Marketing with Joe Polish, if you know him at all. So check this out. This is designed to work with your prospects from the last 90 days or more, and super simple. Get all the leads you've generated who are at least 90 days old. Check old emails, your desk drawers, look at old business cards from conferences you went to, phone inquiries, website leads, whatever it is, right? And then get a list of all those leads, send this quick 9-word email. And it's not exactly 9 words, that's Dean's original one, how he used it, but the format is always the same. Are you still looking for, insert topic here for the solution that they're, for the problem that they have, right? In this case, for a real estate agent, might say, are you still looking for a house in Georgetown? Or if you're a travel agent, you might say, are you still planning a trip to Israel? That's it. And that's it. It's super simple. And check this out. Dean was working with a yacht broker, super high ticket. Are you still looking for a yacht? $100 million yacht buyer from this 9-word email. Okay. Motorcycle jeans designer. Talk about super niche, right? Sold over $9,000 in 1 week with this 9-word email. Okay. And part of what, like it says here, part of why this works so well, it's because it's super simple, it elicits, it demands a response, and it sounds like, it's so simple, it sounds like they're talking directly to you. You can automate this, put this in your CRM, send it out to your entire list, but then on the receiving end, it looks like you're talking specifically to them, because you don't have a footer, it's anything like that. It is just, and they don't want to feel rude. They can't help but respond, especially if they are in that category of still looking. So that's why it works well.
Yeah. And on that, Dave, on the 9-word email, this is a tactic, guys, by the way, that we've used. Dean Jackson was a genius when he put this together. It really is such a simple thing. A little comment about the type of email. This is what we call a spear email. It's short, personal, expecting a response. Is to Dave's point, they'll almost feel rude that they don't come back to you, because that's the nature of the email. It jars them out of their day-to-day of receiving marketing email. They all of a sudden get this email that says, hey, are you still looking for more clients? Yeah, I am. Definitely. We should chat. And all of a sudden, it's such a personal email, they will respond to you. We often in the past have run this in the webinars and the training that we do, we'll start the webinar by saying, can we have a volunteer? Hey, would you send this out to your database now at the beginning of the webinar, top of the webinar? Just send it out. By the end of the webinar, we've yet to have a situation where we do this. Somebody hasn't come back and said, hey, I've got 3 new responses. That's amazing. That's exactly why this works so well. So definitely implement. We said we would give you stuff that you can get out of this webinar and go implement today with. Go and implement this right now. You will get a response from your database.
Absolutely. And the other reason why it works so well, it's if you dissect it properly, it's not to cold traffic, it's to warm leads. Are you still looking for insert topic here for a yacht? That means you've had a previous conversation about it. That means they opted into a lead magnet about how to buy a yacht, something like that, right? They're already on your list. Remember, the preface is that this is to old leads of 90 days or more. Are you still looking that you've had a previous, even if it's an online or email conversation, maybe it's a messenger chat, whatever it is, right? So they're warm leads. That's the other critical piece of this, is why it works so well. You're already a known entity to them. You're not a complete stranger, okay? And it's furthering or continuing the conversation. Are you still, which implies you've already had the conversation about them starting to look for whatever they're looking for. Cool. All right. Number 2, cross-sell like crazy. Okay. People don't do this often and enough. And what does that mean? If you're doing web design services, if you got a web page, well, guess what they also need is copywriting. You can sell them your copywriting services. Globital can help with that. If you're selling web design, again, what do they need? They need higher rankings in the search engines for their site to appear, all these things. Actually, Steve, do you want to walk them through the rest of this? Because I think you have even more experience than I do in this department.
Yeah, totally. Look, this cross-selling is 100% based on our experience working with agencies. It didn't take us long to realize we're building all these websites for ourselves personally. We're building all these websites for digital agencies all over the world. Why don't we offer these agencies SEO as well? Because we're helping them build a website, and then they're going to give the website to their clients, and their clients going, thanks very much for the website. We can help that agency run a better business by encouraging them to sell an SEO campaign with that website. So 100%, this is all based on personal experience and previous experience in Globital. But more than that is these services just completely complement each other 100%. So, and they also help an agency run a better business by removing a lot of frustrations. One of the biggest frustrations that they often remove is, and if there's any web design agencies in the room, you guys can tell us, put up your hand and say, yeah, I've been there. You don't need to, because I know you've been there on this, is how many projects do you currently have sitting on your team's desk incomplete because you're waiting for the copy to come from the client. The client's, I'm just finishing it off with my sister. She's helping me write it, and then I'm going to get it proofread by my uncle, and then I'll get you the copy. And then we finish a website, but all we're waiting for is that copy piece. And we rely on that. Often, if we don't have a copywriting solution, we rely on the clients to send us the copy. What ends up happening? We end up sitting there with incomplete, uninvoiceable, biggest thing, uninvoiceable projects we can't collect money on because it's not a complete project. So,
and unfulfilled clients with no results. And what are they going to do with that? They're going to stop using your service.
It's a matter of time. I mean, as I say, every web design agency in the world can relate. It's a matter of time before they turn around and go, oh, yeah, I know you built a website, but we never really got fully. A year or two ago, you built us a website. We've been waiting for so long to get this copy. I know you've been waiting. We've closed the business now, so we can't actually pay you for the website that you and your team did.
Yep.
When you could step in and say, hey, building you a website, let me get the content written for you. Fill out this briefing document. You don't even have to hire content writers. We'll do it for you. But you get the point. This is how you run a better business, is by cross-selling these sorts of things and turning things like web design, a once-off project fee. Hey, 3 months, project's done. Here's your invoice, pay us. You turn a web design project into a recurring SEO project. Hey man, all of a sudden from a $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 web design once-off fee, you're now charging them $3,000 every month or $4,000 every month for SEO as well. So you turn your cash flow up by starting to do a recurring project. So, absolutely. The stuff's right there. You guys can look at it. I mean, obviously, as I said, I think we covered it pretty well about why you should be cross-selling, and if you're not already.
Well, and not only that, don't forget about that opportunistic thinking. You want to offer complementary services to what they already bought from you. If they bought a website, you know they need copywriting. If they bought a website, they know they want it to rank well in the search engines. If they bought a website, you know they want more traffic to it. So sell them those opportunities. That is your opportunity to gain and theirs. And you can use the reasoning that we provided earlier, that the coming recession, everyone is reducing their marketing budgets. It's your time to go full throttle instead. Zig when everyone else is zagging. You'll capture more market share, gain the competitive edge, optimize your costs, cut costs elsewhere, but not on your marketing. Those are all the big reasons why that I shared earlier. Yeah. So that is your opportunity. The other thing I'd like to add, Steve, before you jump in, is that your best customers, this is a writer downer, guys. It's not even a slide. This is a writer downer. The best customers are the ones you already have. I'm going to repeat that. Your best customers are the ones you already have. Everyone wants, oh, I need more sales. I need more sales at the neglect of the customers they already have. They're already your best customers because they've already proven they're willing to take out their hard-earned credit cards and cash, put cash on the table and into your wallet. They've proven it because they're existing customers. Those are the best ones to resell to. That is your biggest opportunity. See?
20%, 80%, Dave. It's such a good lesson. It's 100%, and we forget about that. We've done all this hard work to close this client, and we're sending them an invoice every month, and they're paying the invoice every month. And what do? We go and try to find new clients when we should be looking internally at and saying, hey man, I'm already sending you an invoice. Let me just add 10% to that invoice by sending you a new service. You do that to 10 clients, you've added 100% to your business, kind of thing. So, but sorry, Chad, I love that you've actually broken my heart, Chad, because I was kind of sitting here going, maybe the information that I'm sharing here about, digital web design agencies who are sitting with incomplete projects because their clients haven't provided them with the content. Maybe that's a bit outdated. Maybe web design agencies have actually stopped doing that, and maybe they've gotten over that and realized, hey, I must be partnered up with a copywriter or partnered up with a resource partner or whatever it is. But you've just confirmed that it still does happen, which is crazy when you think about it, that this is a real symptom of a passionate web designer, somebody who's great at web design and loves web design, but is terrible at running a business because they just want to build a website. So they build a website and then the website just sits there. They're really proud of it, but they're waiting for content. So it's about switching your mindset to say, I'm a business owner. How do I get this website complete and invoice for it and move on to the next one? And started on an SEO campaign, which occurs every month. So thanks for ruining my day, Chad. I realized it wasn't you. But and which is quite interesting, Chad, because you maybe potentially found a good piece of business there where you can help out another agency and help them clear up their mess. Sorry, Dave, carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a problem. And this relates to the next point I'm going to cover about complementary services. You can see on the screen how complementary these are to each other. If you have, let's say you're selling running shoes. Well, if they're after running shoes, they're a runner, well, then you can sell them t-shirts or bum bags or running gels or laces, all these other things, right? You always want to be complimentary. As soon as they raise their hand and they say, I need something, there's always an ancillary something they also need. That is your opportunity to sell that to them as well, which leads us to fixing. Oh, by the way, there's an extra animation here. This, by the way, when you sell, cross-sell like crazy, it protects your revenue and grows it as well by offering complementary services. The next thing you want to do is fix your funnel. Most funnels are broken, and here's why. Everyone knows, is probably familiar, screenshot from GoDaddy here. You can see I'm in Canada, my screenshot here, my geolocation. Bring your business online with a .com or a .ca. That's our top level domain here in Canada. For as low as 99 cents for the first year. Find your perfect domain. Why do they do that? Okay. It's because they're offering you an irresistible offer, in what I call an entry point offer. It's a purchase. You're actually becoming a customer, even though it's 99 cents. But how do you become a customer in the online world? By entering your credit card, which allows online merchants to rebill you by virtue of having that credit card, right? It's for the first year, then they can rebill you every single year. Now, back to the complimentary stuff, right? If someone needs a domain name, what do you know absolutely for certain that they need next? A website. You can sell them now web design, right? That's why GoDaddy does this. But what's their actual core service offering and the recurring billing where they make the real money, it's web hosting. The only reason they offer domain names for so cheap is so they can ultimately sell web hosting. Look how complementary this is. But when we see it as consumers, we see it from left to right. Domain name into website into web hosting. Once you have a website, you know you got to host it somewhere. It's obvious. Same thing with the running shoe example, right? Okay, so we see it from left to right. We want to engineer it from right to left. You want to start with your core offer and do something I call splintering. So I did this with a client who had an online course. I work with a lot of online course creators, service-based businesses, financial planners, real estate, all that kind of stuff. He had a big podcast following, and he wanted to digitize his brain. He's America's #1 financial advisor. So we created a course for him. That was our core offer because he didn't know how to monetize his podcast. So we just started by building a course and then promoting it on channels he already had that he wasn't monetizing. Again, great opportunity for him. But what did we do? We splintered out, take a little sliver of your core offer, just like GoDaddy did, right? With the web hosting, they splintered out to the website. What do you need before a website? A domain. Well, same thing. We splintered out over this course. We plucked out the best module and made that into the entry offer. And then in that entry offer, you guys all know about lead magnets. So what golden nugget, what aha moment, what transformational value in that module, in this case, in the online course instance, could we use and pluck out, splinter off for a lead magnet? And that's what we'd lead with, much like the GoDaddy example. The most valuable thing in the next solution, the complementary solution. So we want to reverse engineer it from the core offer backwards, starting from right to left, knowing that's reverse engineering, by the way, but knowing that people will see it from left to right. In this case, the thing that he had in his best module, he had a financial independence calculator. So we played a lot on America's July 1st because it's Independence Day. That's when we launched it, all these things, right? And then if they want to sign up for a financial independence calculator, which calculated their date when they could be financially free, guess what? If they're interested in that, raise their hand and say, I'm interested in that, well, then we can offer them the best module on how to become financially free. And oh, by the way, there's a whole other online course. So that's how we structured the funnel. That's what you want to do for your services as well. Here's a screenshot from ClickFunnels when we initially launched this for just over a few day period, right? We had, now look at these conversion rates, right? 55% opt-in rates into the lead magnet. EPO is entry point offer, and then CO is core offer, right? I want to focus on the entry point offer. That's how you can fix your funnel, because most of you don't have an entry point offer. You're leading with the core offer. You're saying, hey, buy my most expensive thing. That's what we all want, but that's not how human behavior works. You want to entice them with something with an initial small purchase transaction. Now look at the entry point offer. That is that course module we splintered off, right? It's got 42% almost. Look at the eyeballs, unique eyeballs, 84. 35 people of 84 bought the entry point offer, the cheap thing, just like a GoDaddy's domain name. Now, you look at the overall sales, which is listed here. It was gross sales during this small few day time period that we tested this, almost 3,400 in gross sales. But the entry point offer, not the core offer, the entry point offer accounted for 47% of the gross sales. That's how powerful this is, and that's how much money you guys are leaving on the table if you don't have an entry point offer. Now, keep in mind, an entry point offer, by the way, people spend in two ways: with their wallet and with their calendar, with time. And time, arguably, is more valuable than money. We can always make more money. We can't make more time, right? So in our case, if you're doing more high ticket sales, the entry point offer can be something as simple as a webinar or a strategy call. You guys are sitting here on this, by the way, we got another 15, 20 minutes, just a quick time check, because I know we're going over time. So apologies for that. And thank you for staying on. We've got lots more valuable stuff to share. However, I just want to point out that the entry point offer can be in time or money. You're investing time right now. We have nothing to sell, only value. You can do the same thing, but as an entry point offer, you can do that in terms of strategy calls. They're still investing time with you, thinking of it as dating your customer before they come one. If I'm a guy, so if I'm attracted to hot girl and I want to date her, well, you go through several iterations of that date before you ever get to a marriage proposal. So it's an iterative process as well. So time-based entry point offers work really effectively as well. And then as point number 4, you want to start stacking these tactics. Don't use these tactics we just shared in isolation. So deploy that 9-word email. Send it. Actually send it. You could have done that just while you're sitting on this webinar or training as we speak. Offer your new entry point offer from your fixed funnel. So if you're going from lead magnet to core offer and missing that critical piece, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And then cross-sell your other services. Once they become a customer, and especially to your existing customers, cross-sell like crazy. So you don't want to do one in isolation. You want to do all of them. Okay. And then number 5, partner with premium players. Oh my goodness, this is one of the highest leveraged activities you can do, because we don't work in a vacuum. None of us got here by ourselves. We got the help with our parents, our teachers, our pastors, whatever you're into, right? None of us got here alone. So don't think you have to do it alone. It's actually way more helpful, way more beneficial if you do it with partners. That's why I'm a certified partner with Digital Marketer. I'm a partner with Globital. I go to masterminds and conferences all over the world, and I partner with others to borrow their lists, their experience, their expertise, their audiences to help me, but it's a symbiotic relationship where I'm helping them as well. Partner with premium players, okay? Steve, I'm gonna pass it over to you on that note to expand on this a little bit.
Yeah, cool. So pretty simple, guys. I mean, this is a key thing to us is we want to partner with your agency. Of course, we want to help. So, it's a partnership. We call ourselves a resource partner. You get a lot of fulfillment and you get a lot of white label outsourcing and that sort of thing. We don't call ourselves that. We call ourselves a resource partner, because it really is about partnering with a digital agency. So I think this is pretty much the end, isn't it, Dave? Where we can talk about the getting people the actual help. If you need the help with the fulfillment of this stuff in your agency, let's talk. We want to have a conversation. So as promised, we did mention that we want to give you guys, whoever attended, $1,000. Unfortunately, Chad. You want to run through this quickly, Dave?
Yeah, this is just a summary of the points I just covered for your tactical game plan. And number 5, partner with premium players. We're going to make it really easy for you. We promised you the $1,000 in free services from Globital. Here's how it works, how you can claim it. You can just go right there. Steve, I'll let you explain this one on how it works.
Hit that link. It's bit.ly/Globital meetings. Wherever you are in the world, whatever region you're in, select that region and book a time with the person that obviously fits in your region. Either way, my team will reach out to you guys in the next week or so, either tomorrow or early next week, and just check in that you enjoyed the webinar and that you want to claim $1,000. Apologies, Chad, and to anybody in the room who is already a Globital partner. We obviously don't give $1,000 to the people we're already supporting. However, if you are one of our current clients already, please don't be shy. It doesn't mean you don't get anything. If there are any services that we currently offer that you're not using and you want to try them out, please don't be shy. Just go to the customer service team, tell them you want to try out CRO, you want to see what a lead funnel looks like, you want to see what a landing page looks like when we build it. They will give you a free trial and no problem. Tell them I was making a joke with Chad. Tell them I sent you. Don't just say, Steve, I can come and get a free trial on SEO. I can come get a free month of PPC, etc. So we want to give you that stuff. We want you to feel risk-free in trying us out. That's why we give the $1,000 to new agencies, and why we say to current agencies that we're already supporting, go and just ask for a free trial. We'll do it. It's within our interest. We want you to see how good we are at supporting agencies with PPC and whatever you're not currently using. Let us get you that help. So very simple process. Just hit that link, book in the time right now. Otherwise, you would have received an email. You will receive an email in the coming days about following up on the thing, getting you a recording of this webinar as well, so you can rewatch it if you want to, just asking, getting a call or getting an email asking if you want to book a time. 15-20 minute meeting. This is what the landing page looks like. So in case you're wondering, you can either just bang an email to support Globital Marketing, or if you go just go to the next one, Dave.
I think that's it. Oh yeah, here. What I can do, I just want to take a screenshot of this, guys, so you get the URL correctly. It's just a bit.ly link, bit.ly/Globital meetings. /Globital meetings. Actually, I'm gonna jump out and show you exactly what the landing page looks like. Steve, while I do that, would you mind just typing that in the chat so people have the link for themselves?
No problem.
I'm gonna switch out over here.
Chat now, guys. And as I say, the way it works, it's a pretty straightforward process. Book a meeting, we'll jump into a call, learn a little bit about your agency, what's causing you frustration, where your biggest problems are, etc. And we'll basically just get you the $1,000. You activate the $1,000. You have to activate the $1,000 within 14 days of receiving it, so that otherwise it would expire. But you've got 60 days to use it all up on any of our services, right? You can use it basically on any of your client services, or a campaign for any of your clients, or you can use it on your own business for a lead generation campaign, so a lead funnel or a landing or a LinkedIn outreach campaign or something like that. I promise you'll love us. We're great at what we do. We wouldn't be in business otherwise. That's pretty much it, man. We just want to help, really.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. I don't know about you guys. I don't know any other agency who offers $1,000 free just to try out their services. They're amazing. The support is incredible. They really care about your business. They want you to succeed, because that's the way only Globital succeeds. Only way Globital succeeds is when you succeed. So I'm here to support them in this efforts, because I love what they do. I really, really believe in what they stand for. When you go to bit.ly/Globital meetings, you'll come to this landing page, right? And just choose from wherever you are in the world. We got Canada and the States, we got North America covered here, we got South Africa and Britain covered over here. And if you're down under, well then grab one of these. All of these people are in those respective time zones, so they'll take care of you. So if you go to Leanne's calendar, for example, up pops the actual calendar for Leanne, and you can choose a discovery session or the partnership program, any of these, the scale session. Just choose one of these and it pops the calendar and you're good to go. Choose a date and you got all kinds of times to choose from, and you are good to go, folks. That being said, hopefully that was valuable for you. We spent a lot of time putting it together, a lot of fun doing it too. Any last minute? Sorry, we went a little overtime. We went closer to 90 than 60 minutes. Just wanted to make sure we're adding value and answering all your questions. Before we wrap, do we have any other questions, comments, queries, or concerns? Even ahas, insights that you had, just put it in the chat, or even feel free to unmute yourself and share with us. We would love to hear from you.
I see a Christian. I'm just reading it. Thank you, Jen. Steve, I have a follow-up question for you. I have my own growth strategy. It's a hybrid coaching and done-for-you service program, all depending on the strategy meeting. Can Globital work and implement on my strategy at each stage of the strategy? The short answer is yes. I don't know what your strategy is, but the short answer is yes. And this is great if anybody else is interested to know how we actually work. Christian, if you have whatever you do in that strategy, provided obviously we do fulfillment, we do digital marketing services like SEO, PPC, web design, copywriting, etc. So provided those are somewhere in your strategy, we can execute and fulfill for you, no problem. We want you to just get out there and sell, so that you just sign up a client and give us the work to fulfill. Obviously, there's an element of managing our team. You don't just switch on and leave our team up to the device. You've got to set the strategy and all that. But so long as those digital marketing elements are part of your strategy, 100%, the team can take care of it for you. You give them, hey guys, I just signed a new client. I'm doing an SEO campaign and a PPC campaign. Here's the brief, fill it out. This is what we need you to do. Great. The team will execute. So they'll do the heavy lifting. They'll do it. It's up to you to kind of guide them and set that strategy. Christian,
and because the Globital team has done this literally with hundreds of other agencies, they know what works, what doesn't. So you hop on a call with them, they can help advise exactly how to execute that strategy for you.
Yeah, and you talk there, Christian, about the different stages of the strategy. 100%. You know what the stages are. You know, stage 1 is SEO campaign, stage 2 is PPC campaign, stage 3 is copywriting, whatever it is. You would manage the team as if they were an extension of your own team, that you would use them like they were sitting in the office next to you. That's how it works. So hopefully that answered it 100% is the answer you want. How do you help, Timothy? How do you help with Facebook advertising agencies? Timothy, in pretty much the same way. You know, if your focus is 100% Facebook advertising, go to the team, have a conversation with our social media team, and discuss. Well, obviously pricing, you know, set up a meeting first. Let's get to know your agency. We'll take you through the pricing, and you can use your voucher on one of your clients to test out the Facebook ads. And we basically take all of the time-consuming, heavy lifting stuff that you have to do on Facebook advertising, targeting, or keyword research, whatever it is, building graphics, building landing pages, etc. We can do that for you, so you don't have to. And you can get back to going out and selling. And hopefully, Timothy, the goal is that you turn around and go, geez, man, I've got so much time on my hands on Facebook ads. I should probably be selling SEO as well now. And I can start doing Google ads. And so, you know, that's the goal. And we can execute that for you as well. Chad says, I already used some of the $1,000 credits, so all good, but can we double lead pages and use your landing page platform instead, or do we still need a platform? The truth is, Chad, guys, this was quite an important one, and I'm glad you asked it. The way we work with agencies is one of complete disownership. We do not own anything. We don't want to meet your clients. We do not engage with your clients. We do not, that is your relationship to manage. We have a relationship with you, the agency, and you have a relationship with your clients. Your agency might use lead funnels, lead pages, you might use ClickFunnels, you might use HubSpot, whatever platform you use, our team will plug into your platform. So you don't have to come onto our platform. You can continue to use, you could dump lead pages and ask the team what their recommendation is in terms of platform. But if you're already using lead pages, we can use lead pages as, you know, your platform. Yes, Christian, brilliant. You can work with them. Excited with you, best in the business by my research. Thank you. That's great to hear, Christian. I really appreciate that. That's good to know. Booked a call, amazing to me. That's great to hear. Guys, I think, you know, that's hopefully that answers your questions. And I'm glad that you asked these questions at the end, because it does allow us to kind of point out some of the differentiators that we have as a business, and how we sort of help agencies in a different way, because there are a lot of people out there trying to help agencies, and it can be quite a dirty industry. I don't need to tell you that we're all in the digital industry. It can be quite dirty, but we try to be different. We try to work differently. We try to support agencies at Paramount. That's what we do. We're not just trying to scalp as much cash as we can here. We're trying to really make a difference for the agency owner.
And I've worked with a ton of the agency owners and those who support them. Pardon me. And I can say that Globital is one of the best on the planet. Timothy had another question for you, Steve. How do you help with Facebook advertising agencies?
Yeah, that's the one that I answered already about, saying pretty much the same way that.
Oh, sorry, did you catch that one already? My bad.
Yeah, no, not stress.
Christian saying, thank you. You're most welcome. Appreciate it.
No problem, Christian. Thank you guys for showing up, man. Really appreciate it. I know a lot of people obviously don't want, have ducked out already. I know we took over, but really appreciate. That's great, Timothy, that you're looking at it from that perspective, adding extra arms, etc. Dave, thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. I had a blast doing it. And feel free, anyone on the call, to reach out to me too. You can check me out at jozamarketing.com. I'll just put it in the chat here for you. There you go. I don't think that comes up as a hyperlink because I didn't put the
no, I don't
www in, but
that's Dave. Yeah, if you guys need help with, obviously if you want to pick up the conversation with Dave, you very much encourage it as well. Dave's pretty much the best in the industry as well. So if you do need that help, 100%, there you go. Still not clickable, but
I didn't. I guess I need the HTTP too, which I'm.
No, I don't even think that.
You guys get the idea.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Awesome.
But no, thanks so much, guys. My pleasure to be here. Go book your call with Steve and the crew and the Globital crew. They'll more than take care of you, and you won't be disappointed. So you can go out and serve your clients better. And don't forget to take our learnings that we just gave you. Tell your clients the same thing about the coming recession, what they can do about it, and why they should be ramping up instead of pulling back. That'll help everyone.
100%.
Fantastic, guys.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. You guys take care. Go forth and crush.
Be well. Thank you.